The Toronto Blue Jays are going all in, and as winter meetings have officially begun, we have some massive new reports from the most notable reporters in the business revealing some huge details and updates surrounding the Jays' pursuit of Kyle Tucker and Bo Bichette. And folks, not only has everything fallen perfectly into place, they are actually doing it. We're going to break down these wild new reports and discuss what it means going forward as well. There's a ton of other updates on this episode, ladies and gentlemen. But before we get into it all, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for Daily Jays content. Ladies and gentlemen, they're actually doing it. A bunch of new reports have come out revealing some wild information surrounding their pursuit of both Kyle Tucker and Bo Bichette, and they are officially pursuing both of them. And yes, it is going to be a crazy next few days, next few weeks, but they're pursuing both. Now, let's start with this report from Mark Feinstein, and then we're going to dive into some reports that dropped like midnight last night, a bit earlier than midnight, from Shai Davidi here, but things are getting crazy, and let's dive right into it. So the Blue Jays are making a strong push for Kyle Tucker, hosting him for a visit in their spring training facility in New York. Now, Mark Feinstein reports that Tucker isn't expected to fully make a decision before winter meetings, but an aggressive offer from Toronto, which is also hoping to bring back Bo Bichette, could always push that timeline up, with Bellinger being potentially a plan B if, of course, they strike out on Kyle Tucker. So, of course, we don't know yet when the decision is going to be made. There is some speculation that it'll be kind of the week before Christmas, might be after this week of winter meetings. But, folks, of course, winter meetings technically started yesterday. All the reporters got down there, and we got a ton of info. But Mark Feinstein, very notable reporter, says the Jays were going very strong with an aggressive offer to get Kyle Tucker while also trying to bring back Bo Bichette, and they are going to try to get both, which is wild. And this was, and again, yesterday there was a ton of new reports and things like that, but just to give you guys some context, there are a lot of reports I'm going to be covering today, and they all lend to kind of the same thing. These Jays are seriously all in. And of course, you might be saying, weren't they all in on Ohtani, Soto, Sasaki, all these guys? This is different, right? And this has been now weeks of just pure reporting that they are going in, and things haven't let up yet. This is the first time that at least they made a big splash this early, and it seems like the first time they're actually going to go out and potentially get one of the $400 million guys in Kyle Tucker. So this is a report from Mark Feinstein, and Shai Davidi drops this late last night. And pay attention to the way that he is wording this report and this article. So starts with some background information. Having already signed Cease as well as Cody Ponce, the Blue Jays arrived in Orlando as one of the offseason's most active teams, and there was intrigue around, of course, the outrighting of Yariel Rodriguez, talking about how it could be organizational housekeeping, but also could be creating additional flexibility on the 40-man. And then he goes on to say that Kyle Tucker's visit to the Blue Jays Players Development Complex underlined the club's approach on the position player front, as they also remain engaged with incumbent Bo Bichette. And of course, their main priority was bolstering the pitching staff. But now you can see here their top priority this winter, since they feel they don't have gaping holes to fill in their lineup, leaving them to seek only clear upgrades. Both quite obviously qualify, but it's also worth noting if they don't get Bo Bichette or Kyle Tucker, those are special cases. You can see at the bottom, they worded as special opportunities. These are things that they've used now. This is the wording Shai Davidi and Ben Nicholson-Smith have used since the Shohei Ohtani days, special opportunities. Note, they also say not only are they interested in Kyle Tucker, but they're trying to bring back Bo Bichette as well here. And the way that Shai Davidi and Ben Nicholson-Smith word things is very intentional. Now, there was for the past couple weeks some reporting about, from Ben Nicholson-Smith that they may not try to bring back both or bring in both Bo and Kyle Tucker. But this is very notable for a few different reasons. One, they are going, the wording of this from Shai Davidi means, hey, they're at least going for, both. Now, does that mean they're going to get both together? That's, of course, the big question mark at this point. But this is encouraging. And this had fans on Twitter and a bunch of people, like even writers, saying, okay, there's actually a chance they get both now, because they're not immediately, and they being Shai Davidi and the Sportsnet guys, they're not immediately shutting down the fact that they could get both. But even beyond that, they're highlighting the visit that Kyle Tucker had to the Toronto Blue Jays rather than shutting it down and saying this is just a simple meeting. And you have other people like Tom Verducci, who, again, been around the business for a while as an announcer. It's a ton of different things. Now, obviously, works for MLB Network. Is he plugged in? Probably not. I'm sure he's plugged in somewhere. He says, can I take some of the pain away? Talking about the World Series. My bold prediction is Kyle Tucker going to the Blue Jays. I think it's a great fit. All the buzz has been about Tucker to the Blue Jays. But Bichette also, in a video on Sportsnet's website, said the Jays were in on Emilio Pagan before he went back to the Reds. Continue to be engaged with Bo and Tucker. Doesn't know if any of these signings are imminent. Mentions they will try to get more done at the winter meeting. So despite the fact that Mark Feinsand is saying that, it might be until after, Fine says does have the caveat there that the Jays could always push that timeline up. So things are getting wild now, and these are optimistic reports from guys who usually aren't super optimistic. Now, to make things even better and how things lined up perfectly here and how everything fell perfectly in place, per Brian Cashman, the GM of the Yankees have never made a formal offer to Devin Williams, which doesn't really matter because, of course, we're a Jays channel, we're Jays fans, but this part's important. Kyle Tucker has not visited the Yankees complex, and the Yankees lineup is too left-handed right now. You can take Kyle Tucker out of the sweepstakes here for the take the Yankees out of the Kyle Tucker sweepstakes, which means what teams are actually in on Kyle Tucker. Now, I'm sure there'll be more teams that emerge over the next few days. We have another report to dive into here that kind of shows some more things. Folks, not only are the Jays going in for Kyle Tucker, there hasn't been another team that is a clear fit here that has been reported by any of these reporters, which really makes things interesting now because who is going to be going for Kyle Tucker? And yes, there are reports that it might be after the meetings and they're going to try to, there's a chance the Jays push the timeline up. The Yankees are out on Kyle Tucker. And again, there's reports that he may meet with some other teams after the winter meetings. That's what Mark Feinsand said. We know Tucker met with the Blue Jays, but we've heard he's going to meet with some other teams after the winter meetings. Though a lot of fans and even people, not fans of the Blue Jays saying this could be wrong in the sense of if the Jays give him a good enough offer, they could get the job done in winter meetings, which is something that, of course, Shadavidi alluded to right here as they're trying to get, or I don't know if it was here, but they're trying to get things done, in winter meetings, which is going to be interesting. But right here, sorry, you can see trying to get more done after winter meetings, which, sorry, there's so many screenshots and reports to go over. But then this dropped last night as well. Bob Nightingale, the only way they may consider making expensive pickup is if they trade Hernandez, but the Dodgers are likely not going to be joining the bidding war for big stars. Now, Bob Nightingale also had the wrong reporting of Zach Gallen, which Jeff Passan slammed him with and said it was an incorrect report. So take what Bob Nightingale says with a grain of salt, though he is fairly reputable, even though he's had a pretty rough offseason thus far. If the Dodgers are also out on Kyle Tucker, who is in? Now, there's obviously, you could argue the Giants. There's some other teams as well. I mean, he is the best free agent available. If you're the Jays here, not only have things lined up perfectly, you could do something that, every Jays fan would be, at the start of the offseason, it would be a dream scenario, borderline like an unbelievable scenario to get Kyle Tucker and Bo Bichette, but slowly and surely, reports are starting to flow. People are starting to name the Jays and things. And as we now are officially in the winter meetings, things are going to get crazy. Now, the Jays are also linked to guys like Suarez, the reliever. There's a lot of different people who the Jays are going to be linked to. And folks, we're going to keep you up to date every step of the way. But we think back to specifically with, Kyle Tucker, there's some ties there with former teammates George Springer, former teammates Miles Straw reportedly being his best man at his wedding or something like that. They're good friends at least. It's going to be interesting. And then from Bo Bichette's side, there hasn't been many reports surrounding other teams involved in Bo. Now, the Boston Red Sox are one of them. I don't know about the Giants. There's been some other couple teams, named in there. There hasn't been a crazy reporting cycle like I expected. I was expecting there to be 5-6 teams involved in Kyle Tucker. Hasn't been the case. It's been mainly the Jays involved in rumors. Same with Bo Bichette. Now, can those things change? Absolutely. But as it stands right now, the Jays are going clearly all in. And as this week unfolds, moves could happen at any time, and we're going to keep you up to date. I'm going to keep you up to date every step of the way like I've done for years. But stay tuned. It's going to be absolutely crazy. But you guys are the best. Thank you guys for your support. See you later.